Ed had just struck a match to light a cigarette, but then his expression started to freeze. I quickly rushed over to ask what was wrong. He stood there, motionless, until the match burned his fingers. He snapped out of it. When the bartender asked what was going on, I quickly explained that Ed had just returned from space. I raised a drink to try and calm him down, but his eyes stayed blank. The glass slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. Finally, Ed spoke. He said something had changed inside his body, like he didn't belong in this world. I rushed to comfort him, but my words didn't help. In a panic, Ed ran to the phone booth and called his parents. It wasn't long before he called me over. He'd just spoken to his mother, but she claimed she had no son named Ed. His father thought Ed was a weirdo, telling him to stop harassing his wife, and said they didn't even have a child. I was lost for words. I tried to reassure Ed, saying maybe his parents were just playing a prank.
Look, Hank, it's all part of this feeling. This feeling that I shouldn't be here. That none of us should be here.
Ed was getting more and more frantic. I told him I'd get a drink to calm him down. As I passed a table, I noticed a newspaper with a photo of 3 people landing on the moon. But in the photo, it was just me and another teammate. Ed was gone. I broke out in cold sweat. I turned back to the phone booth, but it was empty. I rushed to the bar, asking the bartender where Ed went. The bartender laughed and said, "You're joking, right? You came in alone." Even the broken glass had vanished. I couldn't accept this bizarre reality. I shouted at everyone in the bar, accusing them of a prank. Determined to get to the bottom of it, I called my boss when I got home. He promised to explain in 5 minutes. As I waited, my wife returned home. I hugged her tightly, relieved that she remembered me, but she was angry. She said we were supposed to have dinner together, and I stood her up. I quickly explained that I'd sent her a telegram this morning, saying Ed and I were checking out and would meet her later. That's when I realized something. I rushed to the drawer to find that telegram, and when I opened it, I froze. Ed's name was no longer on the telegram. Even my wife had no idea who Ed was.
Don't you know?
I don't know any Ed. Who's Ed?
You know him, Amy. Ed, you've met him 100 times. Ed, we've been to dinner together. We've been to dances together. Ed, we've double dated Ed.
Just then, my boss called back. As expected, he didn't know who Ed was either. I completely broke down. This had to be some elaborate prank. Not willing to give up, I returned to the hospital, looking for William, who hadn't checked out yet. When I told him everything, William was confused. He only remembered the 2 of us going to space, and insisted there was no Ed.
I don't know anybody named Harrington. He wasn't on the crew with us. The X-20 carried 2 men. You and me. Nobody named Harrington, nobody else at all.
I couldn't keep pushing. Instead, I smiled, feeling like I never existed in this world at all. Then, I ran out of the room in a frenzy. William chased me, but by the time he reached the hallway, I was gone. He called a nurse for help, but she said there was only him in the room. William was furious, because my bed had been right next to his. But now, my